going on, folks? So back in the shop, and I've been wanting to do this video for a long time. It's one that I've needed to do myself, and it's been one that I want to show you guys how to do because I haven't found a lot of instruction on it. Now, for those of you that have seen my other videos, you'll know that I run a SmartCarb SC2 carburetor in my daily driver here. And it's been a great carb, everything's fantastic with it. However, the one issue with it is that it is not getting enough fuel on the top end. And so just like you would with a carburetor that has jets, you do need to tune the carb to the machine and your setup and everything like that. I've not done that. All the riding videos you've seen for the last year and a half have been with it running a little bit lean. It's one of the reasons why you don't see me running at full throttle all the time. So I'm finally gonna fix that, which I'm pretty excited to do. What I had to do is I had to buy some metering rods. So I haven't taken them out yet. I'll take them out, maybe show a picture, but these are the different metering rods that I have. I have 3 different sizes, and we're gonna see which size actually works best. So here's a picture of the SmartCarb. And if you buy a SmartCarb, one of the things that they do is on the back, when they ship the carb to you, you're gonna get all these instructions on your application. So this was set up for a stock 1985 Honda Odyssey 352 stroke. Here's the serial number of my carb. I don't think it matters if you see that or not. And here's the metering rod that came with it. Now this is the metering rod amongst all the different metering rods that you could have. Maybe I'll throw a chart up. I'll see if I can put that in there. And so the number 7 is the middle, and then it goes up to number 5, number 3, and a number 1. 1 being the richest, and then 7 would be the middle, and then I think it goes down like 11 or 13 on the leanest side. The next thing is the factory tune clicker count. This is the number of clicks, and you'll see that in a little bit, but that helps us do some additional tuning. You want to know what that number is. Now, I've fiddled and messed with mine, and I don't remember the number anymore, so I'm just going to reset everything back to the stock number here when I do this operation. So that's fine. And here's the slide rod length, our idle set screw in inches, and of course the date that I purchased it. So with that, I've not actually done this process myself before. I debated kind of practicing it so it'd look better on camera, but yeah, whatever. I'm gonna just jump right into it, and you guys will learn as I go along through the process. So anyways, the first thing I'm gonna do is we gotta get over to the machine, and we gotta get the slide out, and from there we can put in our new metering rod. Now I should explain one thing real quick. I'm gonna go with the number 3, which is, again, it would be 7 is the middle one, which is currently already in it, then 5, 3, and 1, 1 being the richest. And I'm gonna go with 3 because I figure better to go a little bit richer anyways, and see how it goes. And then of course, if I have to change it, I can go 1 up or 1 down, but I'll know at least where I'm at. If I went with a 3, then I won't know, maybe I should go up 2 more or something like that. At least this way I'll know, do I need to go up 1 or down 1? And hopefully that'll get our EGTs right where they need to be so that we can run full throttle and do some of those cool, awesome hard burns. So anyways, with that, I'm gonna get started on it. So let's get going. Okay, so reading the instructions here, the first thing we're gonna do is loosen the hose clamps on the intake manifold in the air boot, rotate the SmartCarb toward you for easier access to the cap. Now, this is assuming you're riding a motorcycle on an Odyssey. You really shouldn't have to do that because the cap is going to be in the optimal position exactly where it's at. So the next step is step B here, and it's open the throttle all the way while the engine is off. Depress the clicker adjuster down into the slide with positive contact and begin counting the clicks with the clicker adjuster to the right or clockwise until it is in the full rich position. Write the number of clicks down in the tuning notes section at the end of this manual for your reference. You'll likely be setting the replacement metering rod to this setting. All right, so that's fine. Now, again, that's already written here, number of 80 clicks. I'm just gonna go with 80 clicks, but I'll show you guys what that looks like. Let me set this back in. So let's head on over here. So the first thing is you gotta depress your throttle all the way. Now I gotta figure out how I'm gonna keep that held because it's too far away to be able to do this one to the other. So I'm gonna come up with something and it'll come back. All right, so to hold the throttle open, I'm just using a bungee cord here. and it's just run all the way over, all the way up front there. Now, it's really, really important that you get the throttle all the way. If there's any bit of play in here, it's not going to work. I found that out as I was working on this. So now what you will feel is in here, this is your clicker. So you're going to press it down and you're going to turn it to the right. And if you have it all the way, you should be able to feel individual clicks. All right, those are the clicks. If you don't have your throttle over here all the way, it's not going to click. It's just going to press. So let me see if I can get that. Okay, you can definitely feel the clicks. If you don't, it'll just kind of turn like this even when it's depressed with no individual clicks. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click it all the way, and I got to count to see how many I currently am, so I at least know what I was before I went back. Again, this is not going to match the 80 that I already had, just because I'd already messed with this and I never wrote it down, so this is going to be a mystery to me. So let's start counting. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 121. That's what it's currently set at. All right, just a word of caution: when clicking the clicker adjuster to the right or clockwise, the full rich position, do not over tighten the clicker or use excessive force. Clicking beyond the full rich position may damage the metering rod. So as I was pressing down and turning, it definitely you got resistance, and of course you don't want to push any harder once you feel that resistance. That is your max throttle position. All right, so at this point, the next step is going to be remove the cap, throttle spring, cable retainer in the slide from the SmartCarb by removing the 4 cap screws with the 3mm Allen wrench. Now, it's not written here, but I think, I'm not positive, but I think we're supposed to, well, it doesn't say it, so we're just going to do it. I don't know if I'm supposed to undo my throttle and release that. But the steps don't say to do that, so I am not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it as is. We're going to use a 3mm Allen wrench and remove the spring, cable, retainer, and slide from the SmartCarb, removing the force caps with the 3mm Allen wrench. All right, here's my wrench. Let's get started. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I got to undo some zip ties and stuff like that, just because I have a lot of stuff that's going on here. And the first is, on my choke cable, there is an option to do a remote choke option with the carb. I didn't do that. We do have that as an option on the website. If you're inclined to do that, you can purchase it. But for now, what we're gonna do, or what I did, is I just zip tied my remote choke cable to the throttle cable. And it's kind of in the way now, so we're just gonna remove some of this stuff. And there's all sorts of wires, and most of this for like sensor wires and whatnot. And hopefully you guys can kind of see the right angle here. I think, oh, one more I think right here. Okay. And that should allow us to remove this cable. That's our choke cable out of the way. All right, now there's a little bit of sand here, so I'm just gonna grab the air compressor and just kind of blow this out, because as I open this up, I don't want to have any sand here. So I'm gonna get that going real quick. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna take off the cap. So it's just a 3mm on wrench here. All right, so the next step is we're supposed to be able to remove all of the cap. You can see it's pulling out. I'm just trying to loosen this cable. And as I pull up on it, we should get the space that we need. There you can see our metering rods right there. Okay. Slide this over here, nice and gently. I say nice and gently, and then I drop it. Okay, just like that. Okay. Let's see, what am I supposed to do here? What do I do? I think I actually have to let go of my throttle. Yeah, okay. So definitely something that I'll have to edit. So you do want to remove, if you have your throttle cable depressed like I did, this will be all the way up. So I removed the bungee cord, and that released all of this. Now I should be able, at this point, be able to move this up. All right, so the step we're on here is remove the slide from the cable, gently compress the throttle return spring to push the cable end out the bottom of the slide's nose, push it over into the larger hole in the slide's nose and relax the spring. The slide should be free of the cable. All right, and just a quick little note, do not bend, distort, or kink the throttle return spring. If the throttle return spring is damaged, throttle function may be compromised, resulting in gritty or poor throttle feel when twisting the throttle handle. All right, I added some blue towel here. One, I wanted to protect the carb from anything going inside of it. Two, I wanted to have this ready in case I drop anything. So what you want to do here is you want to grab this spring, just gently pull up and over this black little lever, like so. And this is not a very easy operation to do. But you got to pull that. And just kind of hold it. That's one thing I don't like working on, at springs. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to push the cable, and you'll see it pop out the bottom here like that, and it's got to go back against that, and now you should be able to pull it out. Now you got your slide, which we'll put up here to the side, and it's very important you grab this little washer too. This is what the spring rests on. Now you should be able to just release the spring, and at this point everything else is going to stay in place. So the washer, you want to make sure we don't lose that. And now we have our slide. So I'm going to put the washer right to the side here, and we're going to take the slide over the table. We're going to do our changes over there. Okay, our next step. While holding the slide over a workbench or table, remove the C-clip or internal snap ring and the wave washer. All right, so from those instructions, what we're going to do is we're going to remove this C-clip or snap ring. So I have my tools here. See if I can do this. Okay. Just gonna set this snap ring down. We don't lose that. All right. Set this to the side for the second. Okay, so it says note, do not damage or lose the metering rod spring located beneath the metering rod. Okay. Okay, so now once we have the C-clip removed, so remove the C-clip or internal snap ring and the wave washer. This must be the wave washer here. Set that to the side. Okay, remove the adjuster assembly and metering rod from the slide. Okay, now it's important that we know what side the flat side of the metering rod is. So if you actually look here, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but anyways, it says A007. If you can't see, it's all right. But anyways, this is the flat side of the rod. If you looked on this side, it's curved. So flat side to flat side, and we're just gonna push this up, and out comes the assembly. All right, that makes sense. So now we're going to set this up to the top. We'll set this here for the second. Okay, unscrew the adjuster from the metering rod. If applicable, also remove the clicker index washer from the metering rod. Okay. So that's just as simple as this. Okay. That's what that looks like. Okay, if your SmartCarb was equipped with the clicker index washer, make sure to reinstall it with the groove slide up. I don't see that. So I think we're okay. Okay, so this is our old A007 rod. We're going to set that to the side. And again, we have 3 here, 05, 03, 01, with 01 being the richest and 05 being one step above the one that we just removed. So for this, I'm going to remove, or I'm going to go with the middle one. So that way I'll know I just have to go one up or one down. So we're going to pull this out. The case. Stick that there. All right. Now it says, if applicable, reinstall the clicker washer, index washer on top of the metering rod above the D washer with the groove side up. Screw the adjuster all the way down on the replacement metering rod and do not over tighten the adjuster onto the metering rod. I do not have this clicker index washer, so I think that means that we're just going to screw this guy back on. Okay, do not over tighten the adjuster onto the metering rod. Slide the metering rod up into the metering rod. Slide the metering rod spring up onto the metering rod and underneath. Now we actually have, the spring is still in there. It didn't come out, which I think is fine. So, by holding the metering rod protruding from the slide, bottom of the slide. Push this, okay, let's just do it how it says. Okay, so we threaded this on, and now we're gonna put our spring back on, okay? So slide the metering rod spring up onto the metering rod underneath the D-washer and insert the assembly. By D-washer, they're saying this. There's a little indentation right here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's flat. There you go. All the way, okay. D-washer and insert the assembly and metering rod into the slide. Push the assembly all the way down into the slide and hold it into the lower position by holding the metering rod protruding from the bottom of the slide. Metering rod must be rotated with the flat grind index toward the back of the slide. It can only go in one way. Okay, so we're going to take our assembly here. You can see up there how it's flat. I don't know how well you can see, but it's there. And our metering rod, the D flat portion needs to match with that. So that's going to go in like that. Like that, and we should be able to push that all the way in. Okay, and you can definitely feel when it seats into position. Place the wave washer on top of the adjuster, which I assume is that, and then install the C-clip or internal snap ring into its groove. Make sure the wave washer is centered underneath the C-clip or internal snap ring. All right, I got to kind of reset things up in order to get the wave washer onto my snap ring, so I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, so we set this through, pull it through, make sure it clicked in place. Okay, now it says place the wave washer on top of the adjuster and then install the C-clip or internal snap ring into its groove. Make sure the wave washer is centered underneath the C-clip or internal snap ring. This is going to be a little bit hard, especially because I had a camera right in the middle, so I can't really see anything. But here's our wave washer, and then our snap ring. Going to go right in here. All right, I just took a couple of seconds just to make sure that this was seated correctly, because obviously you don't want this coming apart on you. But I think it all looks good. All right, so the next step is reattach the slide to the throttle cable. 4 steps on how to install the slide to the throttle cable. Refer to steps C through F on page 16. Okay, so we're going to take this over to the machine and do the rest of these over there. Okay, so back over the machine here, I have my slide. I have my little washer right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just gently press this spring back up over this black centerpiece here. So it's all the way over, okay, like that. And I'm using my fingers against the top side of that to keep it in place. Now I'm going to grab my washer, I'm going to slide that over like that. Okay. Now on this, there's 2 holes. There's the center hole, and then there's another larger hole, which is closer to this part here. Center hole and then a bigger hole. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide the little nub that's on the end of our throttle cable, goes in that larger hole. It's a little hard to see. Maybe you can see it that way. We're just going to kind of aim it so that it goes through. Before your fingers get tired, which mine are getting tired. Okay. All right, now when it comes out, it's going to come out through this top hole here. You're going to want to pull it so that's in the middle hole right there. And at that point, you should be able to gently let go of the spring, and everything is attached. All right, so now we're actually ready to put the slide back in, but before we do, I'm going to clean up this lip here. Just little tiny pieces of sand and stuff. So I'm going to do my best to just clean it. All right, now with it cleaned off, what we're going to do is we're going to pull this thing over, because this is how I took it out. Now we're going to remove our protection there. And it's very important that we don't bend our spring too much. Just going to stick it right in there. Make sure there's nothing in there that we don't want in here. Okay. And put that right there. I think that's good. All right, now what we have to do is we're going to put our screws back in. Okay, now the next thing we got to do is we got to set our clicker adjuster back. I'm going to set it to the factory position, which was 80. I counted 120, but I'm going to go to 80, which is the factory. And if you missed the beginning of the clip and you didn't see me do it, I'm using this to tighten the throttle cable. So all I'm doing here is I'm just grabbing this, putting my clip over it. So I got it. And then I'm just going to pull it all the way over to make sure it's tight. Make sure there's no play on that. Okay, at this point now what I'm gonna do is if I rotate this, it should be all the way, which it still is. So now I'm gonna start going backwards. I'm gonna count to 80. So I'm not gonna count it. We'll probably fast forward this, but 1, 2. All right, folks, so just finished all that up. We got our new metering rod in. We got our slide back into the carb, and then we readjusted the carb to be back to the default number of clicks, which was 80 for me, which would probably be the same for anybody doing an Odyssey. Now the only thing left to do is to fire it up and see how she idles and do some adjusting. I'm not gonna be able to do all the adjusting here because I don't have any place to ride. That would be where I could see how the EGTs are and all that sort of stuff. So this is gonna be a little bit of a guess. We'll see. I am due to go to Pismo in about 2 weeks. I'm gonna bring all the metering rods that I have and all the tools in order to be able to do this procedure out there. Less than ideal with all the sand and everything, but I think we can manage it, especially now that I know what I'm supposed to do. Anyways, let's get this thing fired up and let's see how she runs. All right, one really important thing to do before you actually try and start it, make sure you undo your little cable that was holding your throttle position open so you don't start it off full throttle. All right, let's see how this thing does. All right, a little smoke and everything, but I think that's a good sign. I think we're running a little bit richer, which is good. We're not gonna really know until we take this out there. It's gotta get warmed up and everything like that, but I think we're good to go. So with that, thanks for watching. Hope you guys found this useful. If you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button. That's what helps me to continue doing all these videos and helping you guys figure out what you can do with your Odysseys to make them better and run faster and all that sort of stuff. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. With that, we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and stay safe and enjoy.